Okay, first, when I meet these immediate people, I always mention something because we have common responsibility. As a human being, we all same human being. But then, as I always mention, we are social animal. So human being, one single human being, no matter how sort of powerful, cannot survive. Our very survival is very much related with the rest of the humanity, human community. Now today's world, global economy, and also the global warming, ecology problem, human population increasing. So now whole world is heavily interrelated. So according to the present circumstances, according to present reality, we need a sense of oneness of humanity. And then secondly, all major problems which we are facing. What is it? Come, good morning. Good morning, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
No. Sit.
Thank you.
So we really need to think about humanity. Now that one, you media people also have an important role. Educate people. You see, we really need a sense of universal responsibility or global responsibility, number one. Number two, look on this planet. Among the man-made problem, also you see problem, actually you see created by different religious faith. Suppose you see faith, any major religious faith, which is carrying message of love, tolerance, forgiveness, then all religious faith should provide us, so they respect others, including different faith, and reduce strong self-centered attitude. But unfortunately, sometimes religious faith also now adding our sort of negative emotion, we, and create big demarcation, we and they, much sort of biased attitude, then you see no hesitation to attack other, bully other, including killing. So it's happening now, this world. So therefore, India, 1,000 years, is a religious harmony there. So here also you see media people should take more important responsibility to teach people or to make awareness, reminds 1,000-year-old India's value. And these values are not only ancient Indian tradition, but also very relevant to today's world. Then third, I'm Tibetan. Of course, it's a Tibetan people. We have our own unique cultural heritage. In our cultural heritage, since Buddhism reached Tibet from India, the Tibetan culture became a culture of peace, culture of non-violence, culture of compassion. So that kind of culture is really worthwhile to preserve. And then Tibetan Buddhist tradition. Among different Buddhist traditions on this Buddhist world, Theravada tradition, or Pali tradition, Sanskrit tradition, you see Tibetan tradition, pure Nalanda tradition. So, I think the Nalanda, almost like 2,000 years, you see, in the past, it's in Nalanda, really, I think, carry the learning center. So we, because of 8th century, one top Nalanda master invited to Tibet, he introduced, you see, Buddhism in Tibet. So Tibetan Buddhism is pure lineage of Nalanda tradition. And it is very, very rich because of very sort of complex and very rich, particularly about mind or emotion. Now, many scientists, mainly from America and also Europe, is really showing eagerness to learn more about consciousness, about mind. Because nowadays, you see, now among the scientists, in the past, you see, many scientists consider there is nothing beside brain. Now they develop, you see, new sort of big question mark. Oh, it seems as if there is another sort of factor which influence our brain. So that we call consciousness or chit, mind. So mind is concerned, up to now, you see, scientists never pay attention. Now, later part of 20th century, start paying attention. These, you see, I myself, you see, fully committed, serious sort of discussion, serious dialogue with modern scientists last over 30 years. So it becomes very clear like that. So Tibetan culture, Tibetan Buddhism is actually we learn from you. So I always describe Indian, traditionally our guru, we are Chela. So perhaps, may I say so, the guru not much pay attention about these things. Now we Chela sincerely pay attention and preserve. So usually I describe, we not only Chela of Indian guru, but we are quite a reliable Chela. Why? You see, the guru's own land, there's a lot of ups and downs happen. During these periods, we Chela seriously, sincerely kept intact, intact, like that. So that shows we are quite reliable, trusted Chela. So that's all, thank you. Now some questions.
When you say religious conversions are not wrong, this is what was reported today in a newspaper which said
Yes.
that there is a religious conversion. How do you justify it? And that's one. And the second thing, along with the supplementary question is,
You know,
in your presence,
conversion,
yeah,
what's it, voluntarily. Say, among Tibetan, at least the last, I think, 4 centuries, they are Muslims. They converted, but not by force, completely freedom. So they themselves, either through marriage or some other reasons, you see, become Muslim. So that's okay. But sometimes, you see, deliberately, you see, try to stop information of other tradition, only one tradition, and then that's, you see, more or less, you see, imposing. That is wrong. And particularly this moment, we really committed promotion of religious harmony. Like I think one time in America, Mormons, you see, they are quite active to carry mission, Christian mission work. So there, I mentioned, I very much appreciate our Christian brothers, sisters. They really make a tremendous contribution regarding education in everywhere and also health. But as far as conversion is concerned, I do not support. I publicly expressed that. So that day, I a little bit sort of hesitate. What was the reaction from the audience? That audience was not like that. So, mutual respect each other. Here, I think century-old concept of one religion, one truth, that's outdated. Late Pope John Paul was a second. The Pope, usually I call Polish Pope. You see, Assisi meeting. You see, he, start Assisi meeting, invite different leader of Christian denomination, and then also some Hindus, some Buddhists. So I think around that period, you see, Vatican used the word religions, not religion. As a pluralism. Oh. So these are changing. So I always make clear or express the concept of one religion, one truth for individual. It's relevant. It's good in order to keep single-pointed faith towards your own religion. But in terms of community, then several truth, concept of several truth, several religion is relevant. Over, I think, 3,000 years, you see, there are already different religious traditions there. In this country, 3,000 years ago, the Samkhya philosophy first started. Then Middle East, Iran, Zoroastrianism start. Then gradually more religious tradition come. So during Buddha's time, there are different traditions already there. In Arab, Zoroastrianism already there. Then gradually Judaism, Christianity, Islam, all these will come. That's reality. So we must accept reality. So in terms of community, in terms of global level, we need concept of several truths, several religions. Like that.
Myself, Nazreen Mansoori from Samran Times newspaper. So you talk about man-made problem.
What?
Man-made.
Oh yes.
Sir, arms and drugs both are killers and used to affect mass of people massively. All knows this fact. Sir, if you organize hectic mission to stop manufacturing and sell either of the killer sins, on what would you bank on and how?
Sir, drug. Weapons is way.
Arms.
Arms, yes. Oh, very good question. Recently, the Nobel laureate was the summit recently in Rome. Is it there? Is it? The one issue. Many other issues. One is the urgent issue, a very dangerous issue. That's the nuclear weapon. After we listen the explanation by those experts, really, even you see, just a few nuclear weapon used, or the consequences is unthinkable. See, supposed to see use, destruction of enemy, but repercussion whole world face. So almost like suicide. So there, in our sort of final, statement, or I don't know.
Declaration.
You see, we mentioned, now we mentioned, now the nuclear weapon, the denuclearization, and this not matter of prayer or hope. We must make target within 2 years, 3 years, must reach that. Then the trade of armament, trade of arms. I think since few years ago, you see, one Nobel laureate already sort of making some effort or making sort of suggestion. The arms trade must stop. So these are, you see, steps, you see, to reduce firstly arms trade. It's really terrible. Someone, you see, selling arms, making money. The duty of bullet is killing. So expenses some other sort of life, you are making money. It's morally totally wrong, very sinful. So we must make effort. So already there is one thing. Then
Drugs.
some scientists, some sort of medical scientists say some illness, some certain kind of drugs is something helpful. I don't know. That I don't know. And basically, you see, drugs is really very, very harmful. Firstly, our intelligence, as I mentioned yesterday, you see, those people who believe Creator, then you see, one of the beauty of God's creation is human brains. So any sort of thing which reduce ability of our brain is very bad, and including alcohol. I think last night, have you anyone who have, you see, some New Year party?
It's a dry state.
Oh.
Gujarat is a dry state.
Right.
Gujarat is a dry state. So we don't have, the liquor is not allowed in Gujarat.
I see, that's very good. Very good. One time in Himachal, some which had some old local people. So they say during Gandhiji making one proposal, selling alcohol.
Is banned.
Oh.
That is why Gujarat is banned.
Oh, yeah.
So because of the Gandhiji.
Then you see, some company, some business, you see, they at that time, you see, if that ban, you see, it really immense effect for economy. So then Gandhi accepted. I was told like that. So now I think there's some other sort of means of further sort of development, like at Gujarat. I think your economic condition, I think quite good. So without alcohol. So you must tell other state. Good.
Will you be the last
Too loud
Dalai Lama?
now. Dalai Lama institution, I think 14th century, right? About 14th century, you see, eventually this institution developed. So, some people feel Dalai Lama institution is something very crucial for Buddhism of Tibet. It's totally wrong. Buddhism, over 1,000 years, Dalai Lama institution only a few centuries. So, one occasion is such sort of institution start. Then sooner or later will diminish. No problem. So therefore, as early as 1969, on my public statement, formal statement, official statement, I stated the very institution of Dalai Lama should continue or not up to Tibetan people. So, if people feel now this institution now no longer much relevant, then automatically cease. So sometimes I jokingly say, telling people, I, as a 14th Dalai Lama, not much concerned about Dharma institution. It seems Chinese communist government are more concerned about Dharma institution. So in case, you see, the people, you see, concerned people feel now this institution is not much relevant. I think Chinese pay much attention because in the past, Dalai Lama institution, since I think, this is about four centuries, Dalai Lama institution also become head of both temporal and spirituality. So you see, Chinese pay more attention. Now, as far as the temporal sort of responsibility is concerned, now 2001, we already achieved elected political leadership. Since then, my position is semi-retired position. Then 2011, now I completely retired. Not only myself retired, but also 4-century-old tradition. Dalai Lama institution automatically become head of both temporal and spirituality, now officially, formally, voluntarily ended. Like that. So actually, you see, we among Tibetan spiritual leaders, you see, we occasionally we gathered. So recent years, you see, some talks about future of Dalai institution. So then our last meeting,
2011, September 24th.
Oh, 2011. You see, another sort of our occasion. Then we decide, when my age reach around 90, then another our meeting. Of course, meeting anyway, you see, from time to time it take place. So around my age, around 90, then we will finalize future of the Dalai Lama, like that. So, if you have some interest, then we already have some the document, like that.
Yes, from the time of old times, there is a group of people in India. They are called downtrodden people. They are called untouchables. They are called outcasts. They comprise some 7 to 15% of the total population. So from the beginning, from the time of Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar, they were embracing and still embracing Buddhism. That is fine. But my question is whether, as a head of this religion, you have some plans, you have some schemes for the upliftment of these poor people who can religiously be reached, as well as the
Social.
amenities of life should reach them.
As a Buddhist, the discrimination on the basis of race or caste system is, I say, totally wrong. When we say human right should include discrimination, this is totally wrong. Even when I was in Peking in 1954, 55, one occasion, Chairman Mao Zedong, he told me he considered Buddha Shakyamuni was revolutionary because, you see, Buddha Shakyamuni, you see, totally against caste system. So unfortunately, now India, you see, developing country, my way, developing country, wonderful, and democratic country. As a matter of fact, most populated democratic country. And although you see some drawbacks here and there, but basically rule of law. Now, I think some of century-old, you see, tradition, still, although constitution, you see, give equal, but some tradition, you see, through centuries, through generations, you see, something deeply rooted. Now this, we must make effort to change these things. And particularly religious leader must sort of come out, talk. You see, such tradition is backward, outdated, must change. So the upper class, I don't know. So their side also, you see, must give encouragement to poorer section of people and the lower class, untouchable people. And the people from there, instead of frustration, is work hard, must pay attention about education, and work hard, must catch up equal status. That's very important. So this is not only here, global level, industrialized northern world and southern world, huge gap. So I always telling Africa, when I opportunities meeting, the African, huge continent, great potential. Now people there, mainly black people, now must develop self-confidence and work hard and emotionally, psychologically, some kind of, you see, because of past sort of white people's rule, some kind of, what say they, feeling of inferior, that must change. I was told in this country, some upper caste people, you see, telling the low caste people, due to karma, this is your destination. That's totally wrong, totally wrong. At the time of Buddha, you see, he totally against this, and then he mentioned my teaching, my tradition. Kazada rimmizu, Rozo said.
So in other words, in my tradition, the caste or the family lineage is not important, but the practice of the Dharma is more important.
And then he mentioned the Prajiti with the Gehen Nyawakor, remember church, Nyawakor, that Yawachani, any Gavuchi, Gavuchi, Gavu, any Gehen Nyawakor Cambodia, Shorta, or Dugres, this one.
And then one of the disciples was Upali, who was born to a family of barbers. So even when he became a monk, so this was considered a low caste sort of in those days, and therefore even a king should bow at his feet.
So like that. So now, I think we should. I think everybody, you see, including upper class sort of people, low class people, everyone, with sort of clear conscience, this is something, also the backward part of Indian culture now must change. So everyone, and media people also you say have responsibility to educate people, give encouragement to those low caste people, and sometimes if necessary, criticize some of the landlord or some sort of even religious sort of people who make deliberately discriminate. We must criticize. Okay. Criticism gently, constructively. That's good.
This gentleman in the first is one, the two.
Sir, my question is,
The relationship between India and China is improving under Narendra Modi's leadership. So how do you look upon it, especially for Tibet?
No. Now, not much time, and this question also political nature, so no answer. Actually, yesterday I briefly already mentioned. Basically, I believe India, China, both most populated two nations, and neither one have the ability to destroy other. So then, whether you like it or not, you have to live together. So then, much better live happily, friendly. Say, live with distrust and some kind of, how to say,
Animosity. Animosity.
animosity. Nobody's interest. So we must use, even politicians must use common sense. Sometimes I describe, you see, there's some leaders, sometimes you see some hardliner or Chinese officials. Sometimes I telling, part of human brain which usually you see develop common sense, that's missing.